Hi, this is Sowmyan and welcome to my Learn Japanese lesson number 35. In this lesson, I will discuss examples of verbs in the te form. The te form of a Japanese verb is not a complete verb. It has no tense in isolation. It is used to form the continuous tense of a verb and thus can be associated with the past tense or the present tense. In this sense, it is like the verb ending with ing in English. Apart from this, this form is also used for describing habitual action, indicating a state, and making a request. Te form is also considered as a half verb that is useful for connecting multiple verbs with the last verb in a string of verbs alone in the full form. We will see examples of these in this lesson. The property of connecting multiple verbs can also be used for joining sentences. We will see examples of these in the next lesson. The te imas form is perhaps the most widely used application among the te forms. When used with imas, the meaning is simply one of the continuous tense of the verb in the te form. Look at the first example. Nani wo mitaimasu ka? Do you recall a similar sentence in the previous lesson? We said Nani wo mimashita ka? Miru means to see, mitaimasu means seeing. Nani wo mitaimasu ka means what are you seeing? The answer could be terebi wo mitaimasu. In the interrogative sentence, substitute the answer word in place of the nani and remove ka and you get the affirmative answer. I am seeing or watching television is the meaning of this sentence. The previous slide showed an example where imas was used. Te form only implies continuous tense. It is the use of imas that indicated it to be in the present continuous. If we substitute imas with imashita, we get the past tense of the similar statement. Look at the first example in this slide. Terebi wo mitaimasu. This is in the past tense. I was watching television is the meaning. We use the particle o in the first sentence as terebi was the object of watching. In the next sentence, we have Nihongo de hanashite imasu. Hanasu means to speak. We have seen examples of hanashimasu and hanashimashita in the previous lessons. Hanashite imasu means speaking. Hanashite, not hanashite. Hanashite imasu means speaking. We use the particle de in this. We have seen this idea of using de as a indicator of means in the previous lesson. Subject is using nihongo for speaking. It is not the object. It is the means. Hence, there is no o, but de. Let us look at a few more notes on particles as we progress. Tanaka-san ga matte imasu. Tanaka-san is the subject. Particles that follow the subject are ba, ga and mo. Here we have ga. Ga is used while reporting or providing information. Matte is the te form of matsu, which means to wait. Machimasu is the masu form. Matta is the plain past tense. Matteimasu means waiting. Tanaka-san is waiting is the meaning of this sentence. Look at the next example. Koko e itte kudasai. This is in the kudasai form. Itte is the te form of ikimasu. Ikimasu means to go. By the strict application of conjugation rules, it should have been itte, but it is itte. This is an exception. We will talk more about this exception later. This slide is only about the particle. Itte kudasai means please go. Koko is the airport. It is a place towards which the listener has been asked to go. A is the particle for indicating destination or direction. This follows the word kuko to form kuko e. Ikimasu is a non-transitive verb, so we do not use the particle o. The other useful application for the te form is in describing habitual action. The first example is Watashi wa eigo de nihongo wo oshiete imasu. Oshieru means to teach. Oshiemasu is the masu form. Oshiete is the te form. This is a group 2 verb. This can mean I am teaching Japanese language using English. If using English to teach Japanese is my regular practice, as it has really been, I can also translate this to I teach Japanese language using English. The Japanese sentence is the same. There can be 2 translations for this. Look at the next sentence. Kishi-san wa maiban biru wo nondeimasu. Nonde is the te form of nomu, meaning to drink. Nonde is also an example of the te form, not ending with the te all the time. This verb ends with de. Nondeimasu means drinking. The rest of the structure is known to you from previous lessons. Mr. Kishi drinks beer every evening. This is a habitual action. The phrase maiban, which means every evening, emphasizes it. So we translate this using drinks and not drinking. There is no duality here. Mr. Kishi drinks beer every evening is the right translation. A third useful application of te form is to describe a state rather than action. The first sentence reads, Wakatteimasu ka? This is a question. Wakatte is the te form of wakaru, which means to understand. You have seen applications of wakarimasu and wakarimashita in earlier lessons. Wakatteimasu means understanding. Wakatteimasu ka actually means, is that clear? Look at the next example. Anata wa koko de nannen hataraita imasu ka? Hataraku means to work. It's a group 1 verb. Hatarakimasu is the masu form. Hataraite is the te form. Hataraite imasu means working. Koko is this place or here. Nannen means how many years. So the meaning of this sentence is, how many years have you been working in this place? Alternately, it is equivalent to asking, how long have you been here? Let us look at some more examples. Kekkon shiteimasu. Kekkon is marriage. Kekkon suru is plain form verb. Though this is sounding like a present tense, it's about saying the person is married. More generally, it means he remains married or continues in the state of being married. Consider the next example. Suzuki-san wa kekkon shiteimasen. This is the opposite of the previous, since negative verb has been used. The subject is not married. Mr. Suzuki is not married. So in this context, the present continuous that has been used actually implies that this is a state that has been there for quite a while, not just in the immediate past or the present alone. Many lessons ago, we considered joining multiple nouns. We used to, ya and ka for this. To meant and, ya meant and also, and was used with a partial list of nouns. Ka meant or. These particles were used after every noun. When dealing with verbs and joining many of them, we use the te form. The last of the list of verbs will be in the full masu form and others will be in the te form. Look at the first example. Ikimasu plus kimasu gives rise to ittakimasu. Ikimasu means to go. The te form of ikimasu is itte. It has an exception to the conjugation rules, but we will discover that a little more later. Kimasu means to come. Combining them, we get ittakimasu. This means I will go and come. Note, go and come have been joined by and in the translation. This sentence is typically said by every person leaving home. They say this to the person remaining at home. It's a cultural expression. My Indian viewers may be able to appreciate this. In Tamil, we say poittu varen. In Kannada, we say hogbit bartini. In Hindi, we say jaake aunga. So that is the context. This appears to be
Asian culture. In many other languages also, such expression may be common. To say one will go is considered as unpleasant. It may imply you may not return. So you always have to say you will go and come. The combination of the two verbs like the above is very common. The first verb will be in the te form. The last will be in the masu form. Such combination also applies for a list of verbs exceeding 2. In such a case, except for the last verb, all other verbs in the list will be in the te form. We said the te form is never used alone and always accompanies another verb. What about a single verb situation? How do you express the continuous form of that? That's what te masu form is about. Imas appears to take the place of the second verb. It does not imply living in this form. It does not carry that meaning. It enables expressing a single verb in the present continuous form. We have seen this slide in an earlier lesson number 33 to be precise. Just as the particle de connoted the means when it is referred to a noun that formed means, the te form of a verb connotes the means when that verb is the means. The first sentence here reads, Denchade kairimasho. This means, let us return by train. Densha, meaning train, is a noun and is the means of achieving the action of returning, indicated by the verb kairimasho. So the particle de, indicating the means, followed densha. A verb can also be a means at times. Look at the next sentence. Aruite kairimasho. This means, let us return by walk. Aruku is a group 1 verb, meaning to walk. Arukimasu is the polite present form. Aruite is the third form. Thus, the te form verb of the first verb becomes a means for performing the action referred by the second verb. This can be seen as a verb being used as a means. More simply, this can also be seen as a te form usage of stringing together multiple verbs. Apart from te imasu, the other basic form is te kudasai. Earlier, we saw kudasai means please. Sato-san, ite kudasai means Mr. Sato, please go. We did not use the particle wa after Sato-san as this was meant to address the person as Sato-san. If we used kite kudasai, it would have meant please come. Just as we had ite kimasu, we can also hear expressions like kite ite kudasai, meaning please come here and go. It is like saying, can you call on me before going? For the sake of completeness, let us look at an example involving a noun with kudasai. Keki o kudasai. Keki is the transliteration of cake. Kudasai means please. Literally, this translates to cake please. It means please give me a cake. So, the kudasai form is either noun o kudasai or verb in te form kudasai. Both are requests. When used with the noun, it is for requesting the noun, and when used with the verb, it is for requesting the action represented by the verb. Let us look at some more examples. Aketamo ii desu ka? Akeru is a group 2 verb meaning to open. Akemasu is the masu form and akete is the te form. This sentence means, may I open? Akeru is a transitive verb, meaning it refers to an action and has an object. When you give gifts wrapped in gift wrapping to your Japanese friends, they may ask your permission saying, Aketamo ii desu ka? And on being permitted, open it immediately. This is a cultural practice. They would open, admire the gift, and say many polite things about how nice the gift is, etc. More generally, the te form followed by the mo ii desu ka is a way of asking for permission to do the action represented by the te form verb. We will discuss this further in another lesson. Our next example is Bado wo aketa kudasai. This is another application of the same te form verb. Mado means window. Please open the window is the meaning of the sentence. As you can see, since akeru is the transitive verb, we have the particle o referring to the object mado. Next example is dowa ga aiteimasu. Dowa means door. Aiteimasu is an expression indicating a state of the door being open. The plain form verb here is aku, a group 1 verb. This is different from akeru we saw in the previous example. Now both mean open. While akeru is the transitive verb referring to the action of opening, aku is the non-transitive verb indicating the state of being open. Aite is the te form of this non-transitive verb aku. The meaning of this sentence is the door is open. Aku being non-transitive, we did not use the particle o. Ga is the particle used here and refers to the subject dowa or door. It is not an object, it's a subject. The door is open is also information. That is the explanation for the use of ga instead of va. Let us recapitulate what we learnt in this lesson. We found the te form to be very versatile. It enabled many things in many contexts. Basically, it formed the present continuous or past continuous tense. It was also used for describing the habitual action or a state. It formed a means of correcting a string of verbs. In some situations, this implied the first verb could be the means for the second verb. We also used it for making requests or seeking permission. We also saw some examples of verbs of both the transitive and non-transitive forms with allied meanings but different plain forms and te form. That brings us to the end of lesson number 35. I hope you are continuing to enjoy these lessons. To watch the entire series, go to my channel Avid Reader 100 on YouTube. To get alerts on new posts, subscribe to my channel. Deva Mata Gambatta Kudasai.